Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I'm Choi Gek, Business Development Manager for Asia. I'm very proud and excited to welcome so many people, and in fact, we have a 567 registrants today for this event. Fusion is a premier yearly event for the DevOps community. We have been doing it in Vienna for our customer, partners, and Canon. And even though we could not have it in person event this year, nothing could stop us to be connected. This is the first ever digital event that we cater for Asia Pacific audience. Let me welcome my co-host, Adele.
Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. My name is Adele, Business Development Manager for ANZ. I'm very excited to greet you in this conference, and as Choi Gek mentioned, this is the first Fusion event that we deliver online, so it's a special treat for all of us. Well, we prepared some very exciting content for you, and we have an action-packed agenda, so I'd like to hand it off to Kono to tell you all about it. Kono, could you please take us through the agenda?
Yes, no problem. Thank you, Choi Gek. Thank you, Adele. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Kono, Head of Digital Engagement here as Therefore, and I'm really happy to be bringing you today's event with my colleagues and our customers from around the world, and with you as well, with our audience. I think it's really special when we can all come together like this and that we have the opportunity to do so. So to start us off today, I want to mention some housekeeping things and go over today's agenda. The first thing I want to mention, as you'll see on your slide, is that all participants on this call are muted because we have several hundred people on the call. But we still want to hear from you during today's presentations, so we encourage you to use the Q&A function in Zoom. If you are joining from a computer, it should look like what's pictured on your left. And if you're joining from a mobile, you'll see what's on your right. You may have to tap the screen to make that little command bar at the bottom appear. So we will try to answer your questions as we go during the event, but if we don't get to yours, we'll be happy to follow up by email afterwards. We may also have some time limit that we may not be able to answer all your questions. So ahead of time, we apologize if we don't get to your question, but we will make sure to follow up if we don't. So let's take a look at the agenda. The times listed here are Sydney time. So if you are in Singapore, subtract 2 hours or accordingly, wherever you may be. Now we're going to be doing an intro by the Therefore team. That's the first thing we're going to be working on. We'll hear some more from Choi Gek and Adele, and we'll also hear from our CEO, Michael. After that, we're going to be looking at some success stories by Therefore customers. So we have two wonderful Therefore customers with us today who will be sharing their stories with the audience. At about the 1 hour mark, we'll be doing a demo of the features arriving with Therefore 2021. This will be done by our development team. And after that, we'll be looking at the Therefore technology vision, which will be led by our CTO, Stefan. And we'll pretty much end off checking if there's any further questions. That'll be some time for open Q&A with the audience. And we should be done in about 1.5 to 1 3/4 hours. So that's all we wanted to tell you there. Now to get us started, we wanted to ask some questions to you, our audience, and see some of your responses. For this, I'd like to ask Choi Gek and Adele to help me out with some of the polling questions. So what I'm going to first do is I'm going to share the polling questions with you, our audience, and I'm going to ask Choi Gek and Adele to walk us through them. So let me go ahead and do that now. I'm going to launch the polling, and you should see it on your screen now.
All right, I would like to read the first question to you. Which region are you joining us from? Asia, Australia, New Zealand, or from other part of the world? Adele, how about you?
Thank you, Choi Gek. Our next question. How long have you been working or have known Therefore? Are you just getting started? Less than a year? 1 to 3 years? or maybe over 3 years?
Right. The third questions that we'd like to ask the audience to vote will be, where are you joining from? From your home, from your workspace, from sunny beach, or from somewhere else?
And the last question for now is, which part of the event are you most excited for? Seeing our agenda, now you have an idea of for what's coming. Are they the customer stories, technology demonstration, something else, or all of it? Please take your pick and we're going to read out the answers.
Great. Thank you so much, Tragek, Adele. The votes are still coming in hot. I can see the counter here. So let's just give people a little more time to vote. It's still going up.
I'm sure you'll get some time because we have a couple hundreds of people join our event this time.
Yes, and we want to give everybody the chance to vote. So let's see, let's give it about 10 more seconds and we'll close it off. All right, so I'm going to stop the polling now. We have 85% voted, fantastic. And let me share the results with you.
Wow, it's amazing. I have a 78% of the people join us from Asia. And then we have 18 people join from the ANZ, and then another 4% from other part of the world. This is a truly international event that we are having today. Thank you so much for your vote.
Wow, that's truly amazing. Well, as for the second question, it looks like that most of you have been working with Therefore for quite a while. However, we still have some newcomers, so special welcome to you. And well, it is all very exciting and hope we can meet your expectations in this event.
Okay, so the third one, which is where you joined from. Okay, without saying much there, which is most of you actually joined from home. Thank you so much that even though you are at home, you join us for this event. And then we have 24% of them actually joined from your workspace. And wow, okay, we also have people actually join us from the sunny beach. Okay, that also shows that Therefore it's meant for you to work everywhere you want with your any devices. That is a truly Therefore solution.
Thank you, Tragek. So if you want to be productive on the beach, you know your choice. So as for what part of the event are you most excited about, it looks like you guys in it for everything and you are excited for all the content. Other than that, the second came as the technology demonstration. We're always excited to show you our latest innovation and also the customer stories, which will be super exciting. I can show you about that. Well, thank you very much. It looks like we have answered all the questions here. Kono, is that right?
That's right, yep. So I'll close off the poll for now.
Excellent. Well, those of you who are new to Therefore, welcome and thank you for your curiosity. I will do my best to describe our platform in just a few minutes. Let me share my presentation first. Okay. So Therefore is an enterprise-grade solution for real-time business. Our system manages your information as an asset regardless of its format. It optimizes business processes through its powerful workflow engine by providing insights into your information through reporting for intelligent decision-making. Therefore is available around the world in all continents, most countries, enabling thousands of users doing business in the digital world. We offer two infrastructure choices, on-premise and cloud. Therefore, online, our cloud-based solution is available in the world as well, running on Microsoft Azure platform, enabling us to provide even a more secure solution to our customers. With Therefore, you can complete a whole end-to-end document lifecycle with only minimal human touchpoints if you wish. you can capture information however it's most relevant to your business using AI-based technology or electronic e-forms. Well, we have a wide range of tools you can use in the most secure manner. Manage your information and let the system work for you with providing a digital repository with traces and all touch points. With Therefore, you can run your business on the go and access your information anywhere, anytime, and on any device. And the choice is yours, whether you want to use the installed client, dynamic web access, or a mobile app. Through our flexible workflow engine, you can automate your business processes, increase productivity, and deliver real-time results. And you can always follow your business performance, stay on top of it at all times through data dashboards that you can customize to your liking to see what's important to you. The best part, however, is that you can easily tailor how Therefore completes your business. And this is what you will hear today from our guest speakers too, who will tell us how they transform their business with Therefore. And now I'd like to hand it back to Choi again.
All right. Thank you, Adele, for giving us a general introduction to Therefore. For those who are just getting started with Therefore, I hope you have a better understanding of Therefore now. Okay, and of course, for those who are already with us for some time, it's a good refresher for you. Thank you so much for that. So I would like to introduce the next speaker. I'm glad to introduce Michael, who will be sharing our company strategy, how we see the future, and how we intend to meet our goal. Michael, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Choygek and Adele. I'm Michael from Therefore, and today I'm truly honored that you're joining us from all over the world. In fact, it's the largest fusion event ever in these regions. So I'm very honored to share my opening remarks with you. We are living in great times. We are now firmly in a digital world, and we are very optimistic about this decade. Our contribution to you is to make you successful in the present, in the future. I will share with you how we deliver now and where we are going. Partnership starts with listening to you. Our team is passionate to build the right tools for the future, and it's all about what you need, and we love to hear from you. Success in this digital world is no longer about technology only. We want to be the partner for you to make it work effectively and efficiently, a partner that really delivers. Let's start with strategy. This is our long-term plan for success, and we work every year to refine it. On this topic, we have a simple and consistent message. Therefore is the platform for real-time business. We understand you have a business to run, and we want to give you a reliable and scalable platform to grow and give you peace of mind to help you focus on your core business. This is working now, and we will hear later today from our customers how this delivers for their business. Now, what about tomorrow? Where are we going? How do we help you to get ahead of the game and grow opportunities for you for the long term? There are a few factors to consider, which we have pictured here on what we call informally as our growth cube. So the first factor is knowledge. Collaboration is the norm in the tech business. We will integrate and collaborate in the cloud, for example, packaging microservices and making them available to you with a clear cost model. We can use here the expertise of our team to be a technology consolidator, packaging technology for the best way to use. We will work every day to be closer to you, both in geography and expertise and expert solutions in the Canon network. The second factor is time. Packaged cloud applications for instant productivity is a good example here. So this is all about best practice and speed of rollout. we can lead here with speed. The third factor is money. It's all about making it right for you at the right price. Our ambition is to be the best in return of investment. We want to lead in reliability and cost effectiveness. We do so by investing in knowledge, people, and sharing business practice. Now, all of this, we only can make work with great people who have the spirit that therefore delivers and are focused on what you get. So what do you get? For business, we deliver results. For people, we deliver trust. Thank you for being our customers. Enjoy the conference.
Thank you so much, Michael, for those inspiring words. I feel that our goal at Therefore is to make members of our Therefore community, so our audience here, successful by delivering results that matter. And I also want to say, as Michael mentioned, it is our goal also to be a trustworthy partner for you, for our customers who rely on our solutions to run their business. And for this reason, we have arranged for two of our customers to join us today and to share their Therefore success story with all of us. Tregek, could I ask you, please, to introduce this next very exciting session for us?
It's my honor. I'm very happy to bring this very important customer from my home country, Kah Motor, Singapore. He will talk about the challenges, the benefit, and also, of course, the solution. In the next 15 minutes, you will learn the journey of Kah Motor. Let's get some insights from someone who has been there. Please welcome Pei Hua.
Hey, thank you so much, Chai Ye. And thank you so much for having me here in this event. I'm Pei Hua representing Kah Motor. I'm so excited to be here in this event to share about how Therefore solution helps Kah Motor in terms of simplifying the process and also enhance the sales process. So without further ado, many of you here may not know who Kah Motor is, but I believe that everyone here knows Honda, known to its reliability and this modern design due to its as an automotive manufacturer. Kah Motor has been partnered with Honda for more than 50 years, and it is and provides more than 6 locations, 6 showrooms and service center across the island, and serve more than 19,000 customers across this island. And for the past 3 years, we are positioned as #1 car selling brands in Singapore. So initially, when we started these projects, it actually started from how we spotted that there is actually how should I say, a group. We find that there is a problem or causing a fair bit of time for our staff to do the processing of the document, like for example, posting of the invoice, and then sending the document to our customer as well as business partner. So, and we explore further and we find that actually we can make use of the technology or the solution to help our staff to streamline and also simplify the process and the function. So as we explore further, we find that there is a large number of manual documents required for every sales order, and it actually takes more than a week to send the document to our customer. As we all know that due to the recent Personal Protection Data Act, or commonly known in European Union of the GDPR, sending of the customer personal documents become our first priority to be secure, and also it becomes our responsibility from prevent against a mishandle or misplace of these documents. Of this large number of documents, it requires us to store in a large space, as well as it brings difficulty for us to track or retrieve any archive records out from our storage workspace. So that is the reason that is the challenges that we all face and we had back then. We have a wide selection of many solutions that are able to address the challenges that we have that I mentioned just now. However, I think there's two key points or two factors that stands out of why Kah Motor select the Canon design solution. The first factor will be the Therefore Navigator interface. Due to a lot of tasks are being performed in the Therefore Navigator, and it doesn't require a lot of training or guidance to the user in order for them to fulfill the function. The reason is because the interface looks similarly to what the application that commonly used by their staff, which is the Microsoft Office suite. So it's pretty similar, so that user will be able to navigate themselves and perform their tasks without much guidance on it. And another key factor will be the ability to customize in terms of the document management system is able to customize dynamically. Not just that, and also able for our IT team to customize easily on that, so that we will be able to make any changes if needed to, and also explore into storing new document in the Therefore system. Yeah, so these two factors help us, select Canon solution or Canon design solution, which comprises of Therefore and Planet Press Connects. So the desired outcomes is to allow the user to scan all the documents into the system and able to recognize and capture all the content of the document, and will be able to automatically send out as an email to the customer and our business partners securely and safely. So let me go through the three of the processes that we have within this solution. The first one will be the sales agreements approval, which every sales will require the managers to approve before sending out to our customer. So when the order is ready, the user will just need to trigger a workflow from the system, and the manager will be able to access the navigator and view the document and to determine whether to reject or approve this document or this agreement. Once it's approved, it will directly send to our customer with the approved agreement via email. I think this part with the current pandemic or the current COVID situation, this actually benefited our user, especially they do not need to access or they do not need to be around in the office premises for them to view and approve the documents. It also reduced the hassle of transporting the document within our internal department. Next will be the sending of the tax invoice to our customer. When the tax invoice is generated from our system will be able to capture who is the customer and recognize and send out to the customer securely, as well as with the intelligence to send to the correct customer, so that the user would not need to manually email or sending the documents to our customer. Last but not least, checking of the document completeness. As mentioned, that every sales order has a lot of documents to check and a lot of documents before handing the vehicles to the customer. So the system will be able to match in in terms of the document content for the completeness and the correctness of the document content. This actually reduces the needs of manual checking by the user before the vehicle has been registered. The vehicle is registered or handing to the customer. So with all this process and feature, we are able to cut down. We are able to reduce the number of physical paper needed by 25%. We will be able to reduce the approval process, taking usually a week to within 3 days. And customer will be able to receive the document via the email securely. We are also able to compliance with business partners to ensure that all the emails or all the documents that sending over are protected with password. And all these benefits actually reduce the number of time as well as the cost for Kah Motor. Of course, this solution for Kah Motor does not end here. In fact, we are actually intend to expand this solution, extend the solution not just for the new car sales process, in order to digitize the sales agreements or application form, so that will be able to achieve 100% paperless for the entire sales process. Not just extending out, we also want to expand for this solution, not just the sales and also after sales and also our finance team, so that we are able to capture our service document as well as finance documents to store into the system. So that goes all my sharing, and thank you so much.
Thanks, Pei Hua. This was a truly remarkable story, and in this case, not only automated Kah Motor's manual workflows, but for the used car sales, but also raised the bar for security and compliance. Now, I'd like to introduce our second guest speaker, Mr. Neville Hill, who is the CTO of B&J Catalano. B&J is specialized in supplying mining, earth moving, and bulk haulage services, and they are based in Western Australia. Neville, the floor is yours. Please tell us how therefore transformed your business.
Okay, thank you. So yes, as Adele mentioned, I'm the Chief Financial Officer of a road haulage and earth moving business down in the southwest of Western Australia. I initially came across therefore about 5 to 6 years ago, went out in the goldfields of Western Australia here in Kalgoorlie, where 600 kilometres from Perth, so there were certainly some large distances to travel. And as you'll see on the next slide, one of the reasons why we looked at it is you can just see that with this prime mover and triples that we run down here, and this is very similar to the equipment that we ran in Kalgoorlie. There's a lot of parts that are needed there, be it fuel, filters, and not everything comes from an OEM. If you consider of the prime mover, we've got over 100 of them. Of the trailers, we would have 200, and earth moving equipment like loaders and graders, we'd have another 100 of them. So our solution here related to AP, and Pihar, I see you're after an AP solution, so maybe this one will help you. So moving along, this was the partner that we dealt with both times. I remember standing at our photocopy machine because all these invoices were being printed off, and just thinking, how can I make this system better? And as it happens, David, who was pictured there, was standing next to me, and he mentioned about therefore. So it just took a little while for me to get it through my head, I must admit, how you can move from having an invoice printed to have a fully automatic, efficient and electronic version flowing through. But that's eventually where we got to. So certainly what was important when I first time introduced doing the therefore implementation, but certainly here, being an older business, and there's I suppose less investment in the back office, is it had to be a lot more efficient than what we had. We were stapling, as it were, AP invoices with its respective dispatch docket, and knowing that we were supporting remote sites, dispatch dockets were being airbagged and emailed, and a whole pile of other methods to get down to our head office. So being stapled with that, with a purchase order, with a purchase requisition. And so there was a lot of manual intervention there just to get an invoice together before it was then even sent on its journey around the state to be authorised. So therein lies some of the importance of getting that information, timeliness of being able to get information into our AP system. As a CFO, and cash is king, you needed to see what was being processed into the creditor's ledger at any time. Certainly it then came to light when you're processing the monthly accounts, how much of your creditor's information had been processed for the P&L and also for the balance sheet. Therein lies some of the challenges we face, but essentially, a lot of it involved inefficiencies. As I said, there was a number of manual touch points there with regards to printing off invoices or even opening up the mail to getting them to the place that we would do the matching and batching. And so there was a lot of the A to Z document control boxes that we had. There were lever arch files of delivery dockets and PRs and POs. So there was a lot of space being used, and the person who was doing the matching and batching, actually there was more than one person. They were just drowning in paper. One of the other main challenges is, as I've mentioned before, is having accurate data by what suppliers were invoicing us for, and most times they're for the P&L. So, and if you recall back to the picture of the truck and trailers and the earth moving equipment, some of these invoices would go into the thousands. So it doesn't take too much to miss some of those invoices, and your financials are inaccurate. And certainly, like us, when you're running your jobs in a job costing system, so each job you wanted to get as accurate as possible. So therein lies some of the challenges we faced here. As I said, this company is nearly 60 years old and hadn't invested much money in the back office. So certainly we wanted to try to automate it as much as we can, whilst at the same time keeping up the integrity of the system we had by attaching the delivery docket and associated dockets. So in conjunction with OBE, and as I said, I'd already done this once before, so I was head of the game as to the benefits that therefore could provide to us. And so essentially the best way to describe how the therefore system is working is we have no person that matches and batches. We have no manual files and lever arch files or anything like that. There is no A to Zs. Desks are a lot more cleaner. So although you can't really say it's all paperless, the being able to have all these documents attaching themselves in the therefore portal, being pushed around our remote sites, all electronically, and occasionally getting a hurry up if in fact an invoice hasn't been authorised. But the solution, a lot more efficient, lot more. It still had a good authorisation process depending upon a person or even a supervisor's dollar spend. So and sometimes of course the larger ones would come up to me. So I've got all the attached dockets and where it might have been authorised by even 2 or 3 people below me. But a lot quicker system, which was the main thing. Some of the tangent outcomes, as I said, we had a person that matched and batched, and we had I think 3.5 AP people. Just as a guide, we would process probably about 4,000 AP invoices per month. So you can just understand that when it was manually done, why people were drowning in paper. So we were able to remove 1.5 full-time employees out of the system. In saying that, some of them were moved over into more value-adding roles. Certainly the cost, the HR cost of them outweighed the monthly cost of Therefore here, and not even counting on the, the time saving, the filing or everything like that. Refer to the next one, which, we reduced the filing time by 2 days a month. As I said, that A to Z of that document holder, no longer existed. It was bursting over, and I think at one stage I went past the AP office and there was 3 of these happening. So certainly it's not necessarily paper waste, but you certainly can see how it can be improved. We've now got a process that, it's not as though our invoices can go, necessarily go through in minutes, but it certainly can. There's, if one is for me, let's say, and there's one simple delivery docket, and I know I was involved with the purchase requisition. Once it's started on its Therefore journey, I've got it in, a couple of seconds, and I can authorise it in a couple of seconds, and it's all ready with our AP. And I must admit, that's one of the beauties of this system, that when you really want to push something through quickly and everyone's available, you can easily do that. So, excuse me. Given the 30th of June is coming up for, a year-end audit, certainly by having all these documents in a repository. So if you imagine, we've got some 50-odd thousand invoices for, the last financial year. I started here just over a year ago, and the auditors, asked for some 30-odd AP invoices, and that would have taken us half a day to go and find them in the correct file, to then photocopy them or scan them for the auditors. Well, this time around, it will take 10 minutes. The repository makes it easier to look up invoices or supplier or anything like that. So certainly a lot easier nowadays. So what does the future look like for us with Therefore? So already we've, in the last week, we've had an upgrade. So a lot of our people authorising invoices, and as I mentioned, we've got a remote workforce around the state. We've now implemented a Therefore app. So via their smart device, which is usually the phone, they're able to authorise invoices there and then. E-forms. We've, as I said, this business has been going for 60 years. So there's a lot of print stock around, be it pre-starts, PPE to be purchased, annual leave, etc. So there's some simple ones here is, PPE requests, knowing we've got some 300 employees, by virtue of filling out an e-form and clicking the submit, can go direct to our stores to pick and pack their uniforms. Same thing with pre-starts. It's a highly regulated industry with earth moving and heavy haulage on the public road. So every truck needs to have its pre-start. And so, if in fact there's an issue involved at pre-start, be it major or minor, by filling out a specific form and clicking the submit, that can go direct to our maintenance and planning department, who can be planning for that truck to come in and be already procuring the parts for that. One of the main benefits I find with the Therefore portal is the repository to enable us to easily look at invoices, and I find it extremely powerful when I can look at the supplier invoice, and especially when I can get to it by hotkeying from an ERP. So which is just like linking. It's just like a hyperlink. Opens up the repository when I might be in the GL or even in the debtors ledger or creditors ledger at the moment. It's like a hotkey. Press your F3 or your F4 and it goes straight to and opens up the invoice. And certainly when looking at costs in a GL and expenses and the like, I find that very powerful to open up that raw transaction. And we'll be doing something similar for all our customer invoices. We would have probably 150 to 200 customer invoices a month. So again, trying to determine in a GL what got sold is not easy. Hence being able to open up direct to that raw transaction, I think is powerful. We can do similarly with customer remittance advices and our supplier remittance advices. You know, sometimes from an ERP system, well, certainly the one we use, it is difficult to be able to look at a raw transaction and decipher what is what. Hence, being able to open up, you know, a raw transaction is good. As I've mentioned, we're a highly regulated industry, so we have plans to put all our vehicle registrations and licenses, and you know, it's not as though there's just one vehicle registration. With that must come 5 or 6 licenses, depending upon, you know, where it travels on the public roads and even on private roads. So it, as I said, heavily regulated, and we need to have a better system for determining our vehicle registrations. Currently, they are in a lever arch file. So that's what the future, well, I must admit the immediate future holds for us. It certainly is probably a lot more that we can do. And so that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Neville, for sharing your very powerful story. It was great to see that you actually changed companies and you took therefore with you and implemented your accounts payable process there too. This shows loyalty. So thank you very much. You must be really happy with your therefore solution. I also want to thank Online Business E-Systems, our reseller, who worked very closely with Neville to make sure that all of this happens and all his future plans are going to happen too, which sounded very rich. Well, Neville wouldn't be as happy as he is now without them. And the ROI of this project truly speaks for itself. So to both of our guest speakers, we are proud to be your trusted partner for achieving these results. And we want to go further and show you what we are doing to improve and deliver more. Now, I'd like to introduce our technical session. Stefan and Wolfgang will take us through our technology vision and will show you a live demonstration. Just a little note for you, the audience, if you have any questions, please enter it in the chat and it will be answered at the end of the demonstration. Stefan, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Adele. And welcome to our technology session. So this session now really is all about technology and our product. We will have 2 parts in this session. First, we will take a look at the product and the new features in therefore 2021, the upcoming release, and Wolfgang will show us these new features in a demo. And afterwards, I will also talk about the technology vision. But now I hand over to Wolfgang to show us the new features in action.
Yeah, thanks, Stefan. Hello, everyone. My name is Wolfgang Gock. I'm Vice President Product here at the Therefore Corporation. And yeah, I'm very happy to share with you all the new stuff that we're going to release very soon. So let me share my screen with you. And I hope you should be seeing the introduction slides to the demo just now. So what I'm going to show you in the next 20 minutes or so. Basically, we have prepared a semi-automatic accounts payable process for you, which we pretty much start off by just sending an email to a monitored email address. So that means we're sending an email, and this is going to be picked up by our content connector, and from the email inbox, it will be directly saved securely to the Therefore system. But it will not just be saved there, it will immediately trigger off a Therefore workflow to start our smart capture process. If you have been joining us in Diffusion last year in Vienna, you obviously have seen already a smart capture proof of concept demo in a very early stage. But now I'm very honored to show you the final product and how smart capture is fully integrated into our Therefore clients. The smart capture process basically is reading invoice information from the paper document using artificial intelligence. So there's no upfront training required, and you will get very, very good results from the beginning. But for sure, during the evaluation process, the system continuously learns and adapts to your specific invoices more and more over time. And smart capture is available for all of our clients. You can use it in the Therefore Navigator, but you can also use it in the Therefore Dynamic Web View, for example. When smart capture is finalized and finished, we're going to take back the document to the Therefore system, and it's going to be moved to a vendor's case. So we see a vendor's case where we not just have the invoice documents available, but you also see the some additional documentation and some orders there, and the data that was read from Smart Capture. What you see next is actually that we automatically integrate into Business Central using our new Business Central connector, which means the document is then automatically registered in Business Central and prepared for the further processing there. So you will see all the line items, all the header information is sent to Business Central and pretty much creating and ready to book, ready to post invoice there. And last but not least, we will get back to Therefore and show you a little bit more in the Therefore Dynamic Web View about the new case management module. So that's a quick summary of what I'm going to show you in the next 20 minutes. So let's start this off and let's go to the email client. And here I have prepared some draft emails. Basically, it's just sending the emails to a prepared email address, which is Kronos Invoices here, and it contains the invoices and attachment. If I open this up, this is, okay, Outlook doesn't want me to show that now. Let's take another one here. So this is one of the typical emails, invoices we're going to see later in the demo. But now let's just start this process by sending those emails. And as said, they are sent to this email address and picked up automatically by Therefore using the connector. Next step of the process is now that we're gonna go to the Therefore Navigator and check what has happened with these invoices in Smart Capture. For sure, the process typically takes several minutes to finish. So the picking up from the email address and also running through the AI recognition takes a minute. So we have already prepared some of the invoices up front here. So this typically takes 2 to 3 minutes to finish. But now we have here a list of invoices to be checked. And let's just open up the first one. And that gives you an overview about how Smart Capture works inside the Therefore Navigator. And yeah, this is the interface of Smart Capture, as you see it now on screen here. You see the left is the data that was automatically recognized and read from the paper document. It's separated into different sections. So you have some basic header information about the invoice. You have some amounts data. You have some vendor or customer information, and you got the line items. On the right, you see the invoice on screen, and you also see marked where some data was read from. And next to the data left, you see either a check mark or nothing. This pretty much means if there's a check mark, the system is already very confident that the data read is correctly, and you may skip the checking process. If there's no check mark left, it's probably better to check because the system still wants to learn and is not secure or not confident enough that this was absolutely properly read. But let's run through the different data that was recognized. So you see, for example, the invoice number, and you immediately see when you click it, you get it marked on the right side. It tells you where it was read from, and you have a very easy to use and very easy to access interface to check the data. You can either click further, or you can even confirm by pressing the check mark, which makes this this icon green, which is basically just saying that this item was additionally checked by the user. So we have the order number, which is read correctly. We have the issue date. We have no due date, but if you check the invoice, you will see that there is no due date on it. So that's actually also correct. We got the amounts on the invoice with tax, without tax. We got the vendor name, which is read here, and the VAT number. And last but not least, we can check the line items. And here you also see that we have the different line items pretty much read correctly. So we have the item codes, which is okay. We have the full description of the item. We have a quantity correctly texted, a unit price, and a final amount. So actually, this invoice was pretty well recognized. We have pretty much checked all the data done. So what we can do next is we can press the big confirm button down there, which basically means that the data is now taken over to Therefore with the document. Or if this is an incorrect invoice or there's a problem on it, you can always also press the delete button, which basically stops the workflow process and informs the user about the problem with the invoice, and you can request a new one. But for now, let's confirm it. So that invoice is done. What happens next is if there are more invoices in your inbox, you don't need to get back to Navigate and open the next one. It's immediately opening up the next invoice for you. So you can stay in the Smart Capture interface and just continue with checking the next invoice. In this case now, this is a German invoice, so you see also language doesn't really matter too much to the system. So the German invoice, let's also quickly run through it. So, you know, we got the invoice number, which is absolutely correct. We got an order number. We got the dates read correctly. We got the amounts, which are pretty fine. We got the vendor name, absolutely correct. And if we go to check the line items, we also see that there are 3 line items which have a code. 1 line item is a generic shipping costs, and all are actually correct and nothing to change here. So we can confirm this invoice too. So next invoice, one from Australia in this case. Again, quick check for all the data, but you see it's read correctly, so all the data is pretty fine. And again, let's go for the line items, and once more you see the product codes are read correctly, and all the descriptions are pretty okay and absolutely right. So confirm once more. And last but not least, we're gonna get to one invoice where I can show you a little bit about the correction interface. So if the system does something wrong, it's pretty easy and very simple to correct stuff. Let's quickly check what the system is unsure about. The order number is read from here, and that's actually correct. The system was not sure about it, but we can confirm, yeah, that's fine. But we have a big problem on the line items, it seems like. We have an exclamation mark here. So let's check those. And we actually see that, first of all, there is one extra line in the line items which is not supposed to be there. And in addition, down here, we see that the quantity is actually not read correctly from here. And even the unit price is incorrect. So here, for sure, we have to correct some stuff. And to do that, we press Edit Grid on the right. And we can here really correct the grid that it was recognized and help the system to learn to do it better next time. So first of all, here, this line, we don't need it because that's a line which is not part of the line items. And there is an X mark. So if you press it, this line is removed from the grid. Next, here we see that there is obviously a separator missing because this is the amount and that's the unit price. So we need to add one separator line here so that these 2 items are separated. Basically, it's as easy as clicking here on the line and pressing the plus button. This was now adding a separator to the grid. And last but not least, we have to assign properly the different columns to the different metadata. So here we press this little icon up here and say, so that's the quantity column. That is the unit price column. That's the total amount column. And if we confirm this by pressing the apply button, the data is read once more from the invoice. And now you actually see this is pretty correct and accurate data. So we have the descriptions here. The quantities are now correct. The unit prices are fine. And the total amount is fine. So that's pretty much how easy it is to correct one invoice if it's read incorrectly. And for sure, with every time you correct these invoices and press the confirm button, the system is going to learn and get better next time. So we are done with that now, and let's press the confirm button. In the meantime, some more invoices dropped in, which are the ones that we were sending by email, but we're not covering those now. But what happens now in the background is that the Therefore workflow is taking back the data from Smart Capture, and it's attaching it to the document, and it's putting it into its final spot, which is, in our case, a vendor case. So let's go to our vendors area here in Therefore. Let's go to a vendors list, and let's, for example, take this customer where we have seen an invoice just a minute ago. Let's open this case. And here you see that we have a vendor case where we have different sections, documents, which are generic documents that are for the customer. We have the invoices down here. We have some orders and we have some quotes. So all the vendor data is pretty easily accessible from directly one screen. But let's open up just the invoice we scanned this minute ago. So that's the invoice we have been seeing in the demo before. And if we check for the index data, for the metadata, this is where it was taking over the data from the Smart Capture. So you see the vendor name, you see the invoice numbers, you see the amounts and the order numbers, and all the line items were read correctly and are part of the Therefore metadata for the document. And we see a little check mark down here, which is just an indicator for us if that was already posted in Business Central. That's something I come to later in some minutes. Yeah, but that's just how to show you that the smart capture process was taking over the data, how you can check and correct if it was read incorrectly, and what finally happens in therefore when the document is pushed to its final destination with metadata. But as I was telling you at the beginning of the demo, this is not the end of the story. So at the same time the document was pushed into the case, there was another process started, another workflow started, which is registering the same invoice immediately in Business Central. So in this sample here, we're assuming our customer is using Business Central as an ERP system. So let's head over to our browser and let's switch to the Business Central. I just need to move the upper parts here a little bit. Sorry, it's hiding it from me. So here we are, Business Central. You see that we are using an online sandbox from Business Central. So this Business Central connector does work perfectly all right with Business Central on-premise, but also with Business Central Online 365. Let's go to the Purchasing Invoices section. And here you see actually all the 4 invoices we just have managed inside Smart Capture are also now already registered inside Business Central immediately. And if you open up one of those, let's stay with DDS Melbourne again. We see the Business Central screens. You have all the data available here. You see all the line items. You see the item codes have been transferred. You see the full description has been transferred, quantities, unit prices, everything's here. If you want to double check the document which is inside therefore, you can always just press the link here, which is on the right section where you have the therefore area. So if you press the link, it's opening up our therefore dynamic web view, and you can check the invoice once more. You see it here as it was saved to the system. If you have some additional documents you want to save and you want to add some more or some additional information to this document, that's also very easy to achieve. For example, let's assume that you want to add a service contract now. All you need to do basically is here to drag and drop it to the drop zone here, which is in the upper part of the screen. The document gets immediately uploaded, saved to therefore, it's pushed into the correct therefore case, and accessible also from the shortcut link. So you can easily click it and check it. So that's how you can prepare actually the invoice for being finally posted. Next step of the process would be that we really post this invoice. So we're going to do this now. This is making this registered invoice to a posted invoice now, so that's finalized inside Business Central. You see the invoice number has changed now to a final invoice number, to a confirmed invoice number. The documents, as you see on the right, have been traveling along. So all 2 documents are still available on that screen for every user. And you have the line items and everything being transferred properly. And if you want to check again, let's open it another time. You can easily get back to the document here in the therefore dynamic web view. And if you check the metadata of the document and check, for example, the posted flag, this is now set. So at the end of the process, therefore was also updating the document once more in the case. It was pushing across the correct final invoice number to the metadata, and it was also updating the posted flag, which means that now if there is some other process waiting for the posted flag to go on or continue, this would be now started. So that's about the integration into Business Central, which is available also with therefore 2021. And last but not least, let's stay a little bit here in the therefore dynamic web view and talk about case management, which was where the full case management module is also going to be added now to the therefore dynamic web view. So let's go back to our repository here. Let's go into the Business Central area and the vendors cases, and let's just list them. So again, we have all of our vendors here in the list. And if you open up again, DDS Melbourne here, you see now that there is the case management module fully available in the new therefore dynamic web view. So we have the sections on the left, the different parts of the case. So we have the generic documents, we have the invoices, again, orders and quotes. here we have some accessibility for the documents, some context menus, so where we can open documents and delete them. For sure, double clicking also works. So if I double click this invoice document, again, we see the invoice and all the data. There's some, for sure, some more functionality to this. So we have here a button to navigate through different cases. So if you can press next case, for example, you see that the case is changing. We have a different vendor now. So it's very easy to run from multiple cases, multiple customers, and check data in here. It's basically just a click away to navigate through. Yeah, you have all the functionality available for cases now, which is around workflow and tasks. So you can start a task for a case, for example, quite easily and send the whole case to some other user to do some ad hoc tasks on it. And you can also, for sure, interactively start a workflow from here. The case header is also available. So if you want to change something on the case header, have to add some data for the case, you can easily do it from here, either way. Some more changes to the UI of the Therefore Dynamic Web View are on the collapsible and expandable panels on the left and the right. So you can easily change the size here. And you can also, if you have a small screen, easily collapse them. And the same applies to the right. So if you want to hide the actions, you can easily do this, and you just have the icons available there. So you still have all the commands available, but it's consuming way less space than before. And the system remembers this for your next session. So if you collapse it, it's kept collapsed for the next session. Yeah, that's actually pretty much what I wanted to show and demo you in this whole process. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of this event. And I think there have been some questions dropping in. So I'm gonna hand over now to Kono again to yeah, let's discuss the questions that have been coming in. Thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you, Wolfgang. Very good demo, as always. Very concise, very clear. We did get some questions. So good questions about the features that we saw. All right, so let's see. First question, can therefore Smart Capture index data from a standard invoice template or also from a variable invoice template?
Yeah, maybe I can take this question.
Sure.
I think what I would like to explain in this context is that the solution which we integrated here in the software is an artificial intelligence solution. So this is at the back end a solution which just takes any invoice. The networks for artificial intelligence, they have been trained already. And the idea here is that customers can install the software and start using it without any training. So the concept is here, don't get started with templates and feed in hundreds invoices for training to train for a specific template. That's all not the topic here. The topic here is get started immediately. Just set it up, get started. And what you have seen here in the demo, there was no training behind. This was just taking some invoices, putting it to the system, and getting the results, getting the benefits from it. On the other hand, of course, I also have to mention, as it is not template-based, there is nothing like I get the system trained to make sure it's absolutely 100% recognized in this template. So please get it right in the positioning. This solution is something which gets started immediately without training, easy to use, and immediate benefit for the customer, but it's not so much targeted at perfect recognition at 100%. I hope this answers the question.
Very thorough answer as usual, Stefan. Thank you. Okay, next question, one we get quite often. What technology is Smart Capture using? Is it using an OCR license from an existing provider?
Yeah, sure. We were not developing all this intelligence on our own. So we were doing a thorough review what providers are on the market who can help us with this specific functionality. And then we decided to white label one of these services into our software and make use of it.
Great. Which application is used for Smart Capture? Is it Capture Client or another application?
The Capture Client is our scanning client, so you can use our Capture Client to scan in invoices, and by saving it into Therefore, just like Wolfgang has shown. He put in the documents by sending by email, scanning by Smart Capture scanning by our Capture Client would be the same thing. It just saves the document, and then Smart Capture can take over. So Smart Capture is really its own component for automatically capturing data from the invoices, and is not bound to one specific client software, how the documents get in.
Yep, that's correct. It's the Capture Client element itself is actually just activated through the workflow, but it's its own separate thing. All right, next question. How long does Smart Capture need to learn to recognize a new invoice metadata, and what is the accuracy? I believe we pretty much addressed that already.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's fine. I will mark that one as done. Next question, are currency symbols required to correctly identify the currency of the invoice?
No, they are not required. So the engine will recognize the invoice, and if you have AUD or SGD or something like this on the invoice, it will also find it. Yeah. So symbols are not absolutely required.
Great. Next question, can Smart Capture recognize other languages like Chinese?
As of today, the Smart Capture can only recognize the Latin characters, and Asian languages are not supported. But I know that our provider is currently working on Chinese to add this during the next months to the recognition system. And then, of course, we will also offer it as part of Therefore. And other Asian languages will probably follow later on.
All right. So a lot of questions coming in. I'm keeping an eye on the clock, so let's see how many we can do. So next question is there any solution for handwritten documents for fetching data as shown in the demo today? This has also been asked before, I believe. Not today, but it has been asked.
Yeah, so as of today, for handwritten documents, this is not working very well. So I wouldn't use it for that.
Okay. This next one I can answer. Someone asked, are there any pharma clients using Therefore software? Yes, there are. We do have clients in the pharmaceutical industry. So Therefore has been used for that application. Let me check the rest. Okay, question that a few people asked was, can we use Therefore as an ERP? Yes and no.
Well, there is ERP-specific software, and this has a good reason, because they can cover the ERP requirements much better than we could do. So I think there is a reason why there's a specialization on different areas.
Okay. Next question. There is Therefore standard capture a standard feature or optional feature that the customer has to buy? So I believe this is probably referring to the capture client.
Or maybe it's about Smart Capture.
Okay, so let's address both.
But in both cases, it is a separate feature which requires special licenses. And maybe I would leave it to Adele or Troy-Gek to explain a bit the pricing model.
Well, just from a licensing perspective, I can just say the Smart Capture license is a license in itself. The Capture Client license is a license in itself, a device-based license, and the Smart Capture is based on the number of pages you consume. So it's a consumption-based licensing system. Okay, a lot of questions. Let me check. All right, I think we'll take maybe 2 or 3 more and then we would have to move on. Okay, another question. This one is easy to answer. Can we use this software in banks and hospitals? Of course. We have customers who are banks. We have customers who are hospitals. Difficult to say a specific use case because there's so many. I know I can think of 2 examples if I want to drop some names. Bank of Valletta in Malta is one I immediately thought of, but it's certainly not the only one for banks. Hospitals, St. James Hospital in Ireland is the first one that came into my mind, but there are many more. So yes, is the answer to that question. Okay, thank you for the clarification. But the question with the licensing was about smart capture, so I'm glad we could address that. All right. Okay, some of these are more sales-based questions. So what we'll do is collect these and address these with Adele and Troy Geck. So, okay. We do have a question about Therefore Online. So the data security measures within Azure. And what I can say about this, Stefan, feel free to add anything you want. Obviously, Azure is a leading provider of cloud services, and their data centers are extremely secure using the latest, cutting-edge security technology, which we take full advantage of by hosting Therefore on the Azure platform. We have a full explanation of this in a document that we have available on the Therefore extranet called the Therefore Online White Paper, where we fully explain all the details of how the system runs, of how the Therefore Online system runs on the Azure data center, including a full explanation of many of the security measures that are in place, whether it be physical security, security of documents at rest, in transit, and so on. So a lot of that is covered there, so I can highly recommend that. All right. In the interest of time, sorry,
Conor, maybe I can also add on this. And on top of these security measures from Azure, which I explained in the document, we are also doing a yearly security audit together with Canon and external experts in the field to again make sure that the software we deliver in the end is secure and is following the best practices. So we have really hacker kind auditing whether there are ways to hack into the system, and this is then also summarized in a security letter, which would be available on request.
All right. So in the interest of time, how about we move on, Stefan, to the next part with the technology vision. And if we have time at the end, we'll maybe come back to some of these questions. So in that case, I will hand it back to you now, Stefan, and feel free to get started.
Okay. So now you should see my screen and the Therefore Technology Vision presentation. So I would like to now use the remaining part of this webinar to talk about our technology vision, and this should give you some insight into our longer term plans where we want to go with the product. We have 2 strategic focus areas. One part of our focus goes to the people who are using Therefore day by day. And with the focus on people, we want to make sure that these people, that we make it as easy as possible for these people to use the software and do their job. The second area is the business. And as mentioned before already, we want to be known to be a scalable and reliable platform for your business. So this is the business focus. Let's take a slightly closer look at this idea of the focus areas. So we have then 4 really important areas where we want to improve the feature. On the people side, that's the left side. On the people side, we focus on the user experience And I will also talk about intelligence, using artificial intelligence in the software. On the right side, you see the business side, where I will talk about agility and I will talk about automation. And now let's walk through these 4 areas step by step, and I will give you more details what I mean by this. We start with the user experience. In the end, the goal is to have a simple user interface which is intuitive, so you don't need a long time to get training and to get started with the system. I was very happy to hear in one of the customer stories that we are already known that people can simply start the navigator, get started with the system, and it's easy to use. We also heard feedback that this should get even better, especially for people who are not using therefore so frequently. So really the first time use and get on speed even faster. Adaptive user interface so that it can adapt to certain customer roles, for example. In the end, it should be really easy to use the system. What are we doing in this direction? Well, you are all aware that we are currently transitioning from an old web client to a completely new development of our web client, which we call it therefore Dynamic Web View. You have also seen it in the presentation by Wolfgang. And well, this is work in progress. So we are releasing it. It's ready for production use, but the new web client is not fully functional. So it doesn't cover all the functionalities, all the features which you had in the old web client. So this is definitely work in progress, reinventing the user interface to have a much better, much more modern user interface for our customers. Once we have completed this transition and have a fully featured dynamic web view, we will continue with improving the user experience path. So, for example, we might continue by adding administrative features to the web client, which is also not available in our current web client. We will continue by improving the therefore portal, especially the UI, to have it easy to use and very nice looking, but also adding functionality here to make this really a platform where you can communicate to your customers. And of course also therefore Go, MIP application. So there are many areas in therefore which will be improved over the time, all with the goal, make using the system very simple and intuitive for our end users. The second part is about intelligence and artificial intelligence. So we want to add more and more areas where we can use artificial intelligence to help people to do their job in an even easier way. Obviously, you have seen the smart capture as the new feature in the upcoming release. This is, of course, a huge step in this direction to improve the way how our end users can capture the data from invoices. Also from the question we have just answered about smart capture, you understand that this is now a first release and we have lots and lots of ideas how to improve this feature. For example, I've also seen somewhere in the questions, are there options to do some calculations and highlight problems? The unit price times quantity doesn't fit the total amount. Some such calculations in the background to highlight potential recognition problems will be added, or matching the invoices coming in with the orders which are in the system. So there is lots of ideas how to further improve the smart capture. And what you have seen here is our start, which I think is very powerful and beneficial to help our customers to reduce the time they need to capture data from invoices. But I also have ideas to improve it. And well, after smart capture, there are even more ideas to use statistics, predictive analytics to help people to do their job in an even easier way. Then we would move to the business side of our focus area. And agility, what do we mean by this? That the long-term vision is that therefore online can be bought through a website, can be paid there, and can be provisioned and would be useful within minutes. So the goal here is to minimize the time from the purchase decision by the customer to really get started and get the benefits from using the system. This is, of course, again, really a long-term vision, which has started years ago, and we have seen lots and lots of activities also in the specific countries to come up with packaged solutions which fit their market needs. And by just installing a configuration, speed up the time from purchase to getting the benefits. But as I just mentioned, the final goal would really be having minutes for this. Go to a website, buy it, select the package you want to use, and get started, have the solution provisioned online and starting to use it. And it's also, we are moving in this direction. So we have a first country where the Canon organization is now selling therefore online. It's not the whole provisioning cycle fully automated, so we are not there that we have within minutes, but that's then open for the goal. Obviously, this would be a solution which is good for smaller customers. This is good for maybe doing a proof of concept, whether people like the product. It's absolutely clear that the big customers, they absolutely want customization, and that this approach, of course, will completely be valid over the next years, that Canon then goes to the customer and helps them with consultancy and configuring the system according to the specific customer needs. The second area which I wanted to cover here with the agility is then the easy operation and management of a system. Once you have installed the system, it should be very easy to manage it. And these are usually smaller enhancements which we get as feedback from you in the field, that we get a feedback, look here, we have mentioned here the export import of configurations, managing test system, production system, how to keep them in sync. We have again and again such feedback that there is room for improvement, and this is very much appreciated, and we want to follow up and make sure that this is a system which is easy to manage. Last focus area is now automation. And as we want to be the platform for your real-time business, it's clear that this also includes integration into other applications which you might be using already. And no surprise, the focus in this area obviously is around integrating therefore online with other online offerings. As the world is more and more going to the cloud, most providers have REST interfaces. We are also working on this, and this is available for therefore to call therefore, but we also add more and more features that from therefore you can use configuration options to call other REST services. So there was an improvement last year already with the workflow to make REST calls. We want to improve this and have more and more options where you can plug in REST calls into therefore to integrate to other applications. And the one concrete idea which we have here on the list is to do something like from our reference tables concepts, that you can reference data, that instead of having a database table behind, that we could have a REST call behind to get this data from an external application so that you can use the data from your ERP system, for example, for easier indexing of your documents. But apart from these REST integration ideas, so codeless integration in a very generic form, we are also planning to improve integration with specific connectors. Here we have on the list Microsoft Office, Microsoft Teams, and Power Automate. This would be a set of Microsoft applications which we want to improve better. Not to confuse you, Microsoft Office, everybody I guess is aware that we have, of course, an existing integration with Microsoft Office, but this is still based on the installed Microsoft Office, which is, I think, used as the most important Microsoft Office version, but some people also want to use the Microsoft web-based Office, and for this we currently have no integration. So this would be something we would add here, and Teams and Power Automate to make integration with these applications easier. Well, and on top of that, partner program so that we have more specific integrations to very specific applications. For example, we had an initiative in this in France last year where an integration with a provider was built. But if you have contacts, this is also very much appreciated. Maybe we can partner up with vendors of other systems to build integration together with them. So these are the 4 strategic areas which I explained a little bit more in detail. This all should lead us to contribute to our vision. And the vision is we have to focus on the people, user experience, using artificial intelligence, help people in doing that job with Therefore in a very simple, intuitive way, in an easy way, so that they can really focus on the human intelligence and their part of the work. And on the other side, the business side, making things easy for the business, get started very quickly, have a very short time until you get the benefits from using Therefore, and integrating into the software to make Therefore the scalable and reliable platform for your real-time business. So thank you for your attention, and I guess there are some questions.
Yes, thanks, Stefan. Yes, there are a number of questions, but in the interest of time, you know how serious I am about timekeeping. I said, all right, we have time for 2 questions. So the first one was from earlier, a question about can we save DICOM or radiology images in Therefore? I thought that was an interesting one.
Sure, you can save it, but for viewing you need a special viewer installed on your system to have a good view on these images. Otherwise, you always, it's not displayed within the Therefore viewer. That's the problem.
Right. Okay. Great. Next one is one that also was asked on some of our other events. So the question is Smart Capture only for invoices? In the future, can we use it to capture information from other department documents like HR, medical records, or manufacturing?
As of today, you can make use of a Smart Capture to capture data from invoice-like documents. So I'm talking about orders or delivery notes, which are similar to them. We also think about using artificial intelligence to capture data from contracts, HR documents, and so on. But this is really a longer-term vision, so I would not expect that we are going in this direction within the next 2 or 3 years. But it's definitely a good point, and it is an idea for the longer term vision.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Stefan. All right, so thank you for all of your questions. Obviously, with 400 people on the call. You can imagine the volume of questions that we got. So also thank you for your understanding that we can't answer all of them today and right now, but absolutely we are happy to follow up with you. So in that case, let's move on to the sort of final part of today's event. And what we're going to do now, before we let you go, we wanted to do a sort of a quick exit poll just to get your feedback about today's session. So in the same way that we did our entry poll, our opening poll, we're going to do a closing poll. So stick around with us just a few minutes longer. We have a few more questions for you. So Tragek, Adele, we're going to do the same thing that we did earlier. I'm going to share these questions for you, and this time it's easy, just 2 of them. So I'm going to launch that now, and I'm going to ask you guys to walk us through them.
Well, right. So the first question will be, which session type was the most interesting for you? So there are 4 of them. The first one is therefore technical demo. The second one is customer presentations. The third one is other speakers or session, and all of the above. Please pick one.
Excellent. So the second question and the very last question for the day, which area did you learn the most about? Was that how therefore is used, upcoming therefore features, the future of therefore, or all of these? Please take your pick before we read out the answers.
All right, votes are coming in. I love seeing this number goes up. It's just like, it shoots up from like 150 to 190 in like 3 seconds. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure we have a lot of people still staying with us.
Yes, we do. We still have, yeah, almost nearly 400 people.
Amazing.
That's fantastic. Fantastic.
This is the biggest event I have ever joined.
I think it's the biggest one I've ever run in all my years at Therefore. So that's fantastic.
Well,
so happy
the
to be a
pleasure
part
is
of
yours
this.
then.
It's awesome. Love seeing it. All right, let's take 10 more seconds. Clock's ticking and we are closing. So let's take a look at the results.
Right. So let me do the first one. I'm happy to see that there are so many people of you actually enjoying all of the above, which is the agenda we have prepared for you. And 30 of them actually enjoyed the technical session, the demonstration. It was fantastic. And 22% of them enjoy our customers presentation, which is the 2 of them have shared with us very, very good stories. And of course, the 4% of them, which is enjoyed the other speakers and session. Thank you so much for your selection.
So in regards to what we have learned today, looks like that most of you have learned a little bit about everything, over half, which is great news. Then you definitely learned about the new upcoming therefore features, and trust me, that is more where that is coming from. We are very serious about bringing the latest innovations to you. So please stick with us for more. And we also learned about a little bit about how therefore is used. Thanks so much for your answers.
All right. Great. Well, thank you everyone for participating in our poll. At this point, I'd like to ask all members of the Therefore team to please turn on your cameras. Let's see, do we have everybody? Do we have everybody? Yes, we do. All right. Great. So I'm glad we still have everybody here. So just a quick round robin question. Tragek, start us off. Tragek, what was your favorite takeaway from today's event?
Right. So I really enjoyed today's session a lot. It's very interesting for me, and I'm very sure it's very interesting for all our audience to see different great features that our R&D have put them together and the innovation that we could bring to them. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for all your active participation to share your ideas to our Therefore Idea portal, and then all the ideas you have shared with us from the field. We want to make sure that we provide you a great platform for your real-time business. And I'm very excited to see what is coming out. And thank you so much for all your time to be with us today. Adele, what about you?
Well, thanks, Troyek. I tend to agree with you. And meanwhile, I love the technology content we had today. I most enjoyed listening to our customer stories and see how they use Therefore to solve their business challenges. These are really good insights and they are so valuable for all of us, for us and also for our Therefore community, as we always learn new ways to use Therefore that worked for others. I also would like to take the opportunity to thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the conference. Michael, what do you think?
Thank you all for your trust. We want to be the company that really delivers and contributes to your business. It was great to see from our customers how this is bringing practical use in real life. And it's exciting to have a passionate team who wants to make this strong contribution. Thank you.
All right. Well, from my side, I would like to thank, of course, our audience for joining. Definitely, as we mentioned in the beginning, largest fusion event we've ever had in the region. So I'm so happy to see us growing in the region and that we're able to do this. I want to thank the audience. I want to thank the Therefore team and also our wonderful customers who took the time to present and to tell us about their success. We're very happy to be their partners in their journey. So we hope that you found today's session informative and useful. We will follow up with you for those questions that we weren't able to get to. Other than that, we wish you a great day, lots of success, and yeah, have a great day, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.